This is Water Elemental.
And this is Axis, and we are here today to talk about the League of Legends. This is an ongoing show where we talk a little bit about everyone's favorite MOBA-style battle game. This week, we have some interesting news, actually. Some very interesting news. We, of course, have a patch that dropped, a very big patch that we'll be taking a look over. We have some crazy stuff on the PBE, though, that I'm actually very excited to talk about. 2 new skins, obviously, and a fascinating new game mode, which we are going to pick apart before its launch here. So, let's jump right into it. First things first, we have the patch notes. This is patch 4.11. Kind of an interesting patch. A lot of little balancing, some small tweaks, stuff like that. The first primary thing is they changed a little bit about how much gold you get for kills. This is something they've tinkered around with a lot. And it looks like they are reducing the amount of gold that you get.
Not very fun, but it makes sense. Early game, you shouldn't be getting too much gold to scale too out of hand.
Yeah, it looks like they're making early game kills a lot more valuable, and late game kills will be a lot less valuable. So kill streaks are going to be worth less in terms of how many gold you get per kill, and the gold cap is staying the same, but it takes longer to get to that point. So early game kills are going to be worth a lot, and late game kind of those kill streak gets are going to be worth a lot less. Turrets deal a lot more damage. They do 12.5% more damage per hit, in addition to the base 25. And turrets will now finish their warming up bonus damage charge after 2 hits instead of 3.
Really trying to get away from that late game tower diving. Because early game tower dives are very, very rare, but they're very, very like risk reward. Late game, if you're a very tanky champion like Lee Sin or any other champion that can actually just knock people out, you can just kind of pop in, pop out. So now they're going to try to make it more deadly for you to tower dive, which is kind of a bad thing actually.
We'll have to see how it plays out. And finally, they're changing the lane range for experience on minions from 1250 to 1400. This will reduce some zone out penalties, which I think is also kind of good and bad.
Now for the nerfs, the first nerf comes to Braum. They thought he was too powerful, so they reduced the damage he gets on his passive from 70 to 50, plus 12 per level. So it's going to be a lot heftier in far as late game, as far as you going and dealing damage. You're not going to do as much. And the debuff time to proc stun is now to 4 seconds instead of 5.
Indeed. I don't know. The passive concussive blows will do about the same damage as you get to level cap, but early game it's going to do a lot less. And that reduced debuff time is definitely going to hurt him. But we will have to see how it plays out. Next, of course, we have Jax. Got his base health per level, and armor per level all knocked down, so he's a lot less durable, even though he's supposed to be very durable, but we'll have to see. Kale got some slight nerfs to both ratios, cooldowns, and attack speed per level. Kind of a bummer for you.
Yeah, I just started to play her again. I'm like, I forgot how good she is.
No,
and then
she's not.
Yeah, they pretty much knocked her scaling for ability power on Righteous Fury by half, and her intervention is now on a higher cooldown. So
20 seconds per rank.
It's pretty harsh. But there's a huge buff to one of my favorite characters ever, Maokai.
Huge buff?
A huge buff. Maokai got some really good changes. His Q,
nerf to Arcane Smash.
It's kind of a good thing in the long run. His smash his slow duration went to 1.5 instead of 2, but the mana cost went down to 45. Lets you spam it a little bit more. His twisted advance now no longer has a wind up before advancing to the enemy target, which means that there's not going to be as many times where you hit your W, then they blink,
you start to go like,
and then they're like gone, and then you like start following all the way to base, or they're blank somewhere. It's awful.
I guess I'll be over here.
So many times I've died to that. The damage is now a percentage of target's maximum health plus a lower scaling, which is also really, really good.
15% at max rank and 0.04 percentage ability power ratio.
So he can do some serious damage late game, especially with a percentage.
Mana cost has been reduced to 75 at all levels, and the cooldown now scales from 13 to 9, and the range got a slight nerf. So take that as you will. This will be your main bread and butter ability at this point. You get some good CDR. You're going to be taking off 15% of their maximum, not current, HP, which is really, really powerful.
Seed Toss now has a slow for 1 second. It's a 50% slow, and the movement speed of the seeds now scale with Maokai's movement. Landing the seeds damage has been nerfed a little bit. The ratio is still 4.0, but at max rank, instead of 180, it's about 120.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag. The nicest thing about it is that ever since the boot change, seedlings have been really easy to get away from, since everyone has an additional 25% movement speed at the start of the game. That made it really difficult for Maokai to sort of get those early game, ambushes with the saplings. I know that's going to be a little bit easier for him. It's going to make his kit more cohesive, and that slow only means good, especially now that the range on his Twisted Advance is slightly lower.
And it encourages you to get items like Aether Wisp and stuff like that early game, where it's going to increase your speed and damage.
Indeed. So this will allow him to get a lot more creative builds.
And finally, his ultimate Vengeful Maelstrom now is a self-cast and circles Maokai instead of sitting on a target area. And Vengeful Maelstrom now shows the combat text over Maokai's head while there's a team fight, so it's visible to Maokai. So instead of having to look at the tooltip, it will be on top of his head.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. This is something we talked about a little bit. The mana cost has gone down on a lot of his skills, but the range on a lot of his skills has also gone down. So this sort of puts him in a position where previously he could sort of drop Maelstrom on his carries and AP, and then Twisted Advance and start bullying with his Q and so on. Now that it's centered around him and the range on his Twisted Advance is lower, he's going to be sort of chugging it around with the melee of his team, which, Maokai's usually played as a jungler. He can be put in other roles, clearly, especially now that he does that massive burst with his Twisted Advance, so we might see some new builds with him. But I just worry that because of the Vengeful Spirit's range reduction and because it's centered on him, he's going to be more of a babysitter rather than sort of the upfront bruiser that he used to be.
This does throw him into more of a support role in some builds now, and this is something I've been actually experimenting with before the patch on if he can be a viable support in bottom lane with his seed coverage, as well as just his full-on control over single target people. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do. I'm going to probably do some more testing on it to see how it goes. I'm kind of happy with the way his C's now slow, because chasing as Maokai is really hard because he's really slow. So if they're just barely out of range, it's just like, urgh.
Yeah, the thing I'm looking forward to, though, is because Vengeful Maelstrom is centered on you now, all those burst videos we saw in his initial videos where people sort of hung out in Maelstrom instead of immediately leaving it are going to happen. So you get something like the magic reduction aura, and you just sit on somebody with that, with another teammate or two, and you're chugging damage, and you just walk
it's
up.
Like it's an AoE execute.
You walk up to the guy that you want to kill, and that damage is staying. The damage sticks, so you get good mana regen. You're like, oh, I just soaked up, good 1,200 damage. You walk over to a guy and just drop it off. After you take off 13 or 30% of their maximum HP, and then you drop that on them. Oh, I think it's going to be really fun.
Yes.
I think that's actually the thing that I'm most excited for. While I worry that he'll be more of a babysitter, that huge explosion damage
is going to be so satisfying.
It's going to be really cool. Because before, I've never really been impressed with Twisted or Maelstrom damage, just because
it only goes so high.
It would detonate, and it would really maybe hit one guy. Now it's going to detonate and hit everyone near you.
Because when they're running away, you can just advance to them and then pop it. So you're just like, here I come, hello!
It's going to be great. Nautilus got some slight changes. He can trigger the effect on the targets a lot sooner
with his
based
passive.
on his level with his passive, so he can root people actually significantly quicker at level 16 and beyond. Every 6 seconds instead of every 9. It's amazing.
Hopefully he comes back to being a very, very, very aggressive jungler.
I know he's a favorite of a lot of people.
Yeah, he fell out for a while, and then nothing ever came of it.
Hotshot Nidori GG got some changes. Base health got increased, and base armor got increased. Prowl got some slight changes. Previously, they changed it so that way you would only get that same speed advancement when you're moving towards a target. They've tweaked that a little bit to only affect hunted targets, so that's kind of a bummer. They made the javelin width on javelin toss a little bigger. Bushwhack has a shorter cooldown at early levels and has reduced damage at early levels as well. 2% at all ranks, I believe. Pounce got a slight increase in range, but it also gives you a better indication of when you're going after hunted targets, and it will also hit hunted targets in a greater radius. Primal Surge got a mana cost reduction at higher levels. An aspect of the Cougar triggers Hunt, which resets the cooldown of aspect of the Cougar if you're in human form. So you can sort of juggle it a little bit faster and switch out and jump and throw spears and drop traps. And they sort of want to encourage this massive shape-shifting sort of gameplay.
Help me, I can't control what I am anymore.
Exactly.
I haven't heard much about her ever since her rework. I haven't seen many of her.
She's been way less popular since the Javelin nerfs.
Yeah, but let us know what you guys think about that. I'm really curious to see what you guys think of her changes. So,
indeed.
Speaking of someone else that got a change, Skarner.
Nerfs to everything. Bonus move speed per stack reduced. Bonus damage, physical and magical reduced by 2 at all ranks, scaling all the way up to 10 at max rank on Crystal Slash, and Impale got some slight bugs. This is kind of a bummer. Crystal Slash is becoming less and less of his main core ability.
Which is weird, because that's like the draw. It's like, I want to just come in and just keep spamming
I
Q.
want to spam my buttons, and I want to move fast, and they're twinking that, so it's a little weird.
Vladimir got a cool little change. Now he can now cast his summoner spells and items while in his pool. So
it's really fun. I'm looking forward to seeing some cheese.
So it's like, I'm going to pool and flash away.
I just want some cheese, please. And minor tweaks to Zac and Yaosu and Ziggs. Just sort of changing radiuses and damages. Nothing really that's going to change your kit too drastically besides maybe some damage reduction.
They embiggened some more champions. Shyvana, Thresh, and Vi have newer hitboxes. Some of these are going to shrink. I think that Shyvana's Dragon one was changed so that she has a little bit bigger of a hitbox, because I know that parts of her wings wouldn't count for her damage or like her hitbox, so now hopefully it encapsulates the whole thing while she's in dragon form. And Thresh probably has a bit smaller or bit larger hitbox. I'm not entirely sure. So
they've increased the size of both Thresh and Vi.
Okay, I didn't know if they shrunk it or increased it.
No, they increased both. And then the splash arts for Caitlyn and Urgot got updated to the ones that we saw in the PBE. So very nice, very classy, very interesting.
What about Cataline?
Cataline is my favorite character. And finally, those jungle item changes we talked about from the PBE, they went in. That Hunter's Machete got the plus 10 damage and the 5 damage reduction from the unique passives. So you don't really get the bonus gold anymore, which is kind of a bummer. But that Quill Coat is in game now, and it's got that sweet ward, so you can go for a more defensive Wiggles Lantern build, which I think is awesome.
As well as this amazing passive.
Indeed. It's those sapping barbs, getting that HP regen, and doing that Thorn Mail damage. Pretty cool stuff.
And then Spirit of the Ancient got its change. It no longer has Tenacity or Butcher, but again, it has Spirit Barbs as well as the ward placement. So
and that bonus health. Don't forget that
Yeah.
percentage bonus health, which is pretty out there.
And then they changed the Essence Reaver to have increased attack damage, so they're trying to get it so Corki, Sivir, Jinx, all them are going to be running that earlier game, so they have that increased mana.
They're still farting around with the attack damage items, guys. We're probably going to be seeing a change to that in the next patch, but it didn't go through this time. And then finally, we got, in addition to the new splash arts, we actually got the new skins for Vladimir and for Heimerdinger. Vladimir's skin is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
As soon as it is released on live servers, just pick it up. Heimerdinger, I have to say, is a very great, distinct looking skin. So if you're looking for something a little different for Heimer, I'd say go for it.
All of Heimer's skins really add a unique flair to the character. It's something that's actually really enviable about him. Sometimes skins kind of blend together, but every Heimerdinger skin you see is very stark and different, which is awesome.
And then there's going to be some more team icons, as well as a new icon for the new game mode segue.
Super Doombots.
Doombots of Doom. The first PvE, player versus environment, game mode. And essentially what it's going to do is it's going to add special skills to
Well, it's not going to add special skills. It's going to amplify their skills.
Yes. So, Amamu, Annie, Blitzcrank, Cho'Gath, Ezreal, Fiddlesticks, Galio, Karthus, Lux, Malzahar, Morgana, Wukong, Vigor, Ziggs, and Zyra are all going to get upgraded abilities. And
we haven't seen them all yet, but the ones we have seen, oh dear lord.
So we're just going to kind of go down the list that Surrender at 20.net has that they've collected. First off is Vigor.
He drops
3 Event Horizons at once.
3 Event Horizons at once, which Event Horizon hits hard already.
So let's just spam them.
Let's hope you don't get Venn diagrammed. Blitzcrank shoots 3 arms with his W, which is scary. Galio shoots a Q in all directions. So if you're at a certain range, you're just going to get hit. You're just going to get hit.
His E also throws down 3, so it's going to keep like consistently making more streamlines.
The raceway is open.
Zoom! His whole team just starts chasing you. Cho'Gath gets extremely scary. He eats a lot more per minion, as well as he can put down 3 of his spikes at once.
Up you go!
Yes. Malzahar's gonna really be scary. He can put down multiple pools. Tibbers will become Colossus, and Ezreal gets to shoot 3 projectiles at once.
The most scary one, though, is Lux. Every time she lands a Q, it bounces and shoots off in other directions. So it's not just going to hit 2 people. It's going to hit everybody. And
her ultimate?
All directions. All directions.
There, in the screenshot Surrender at 20 has one. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 going to be shot. I'm not sure if they go at once or if it's going to go clockwise. But,
Finale's
Funkelin.
F in the A is what it should be called.
Oh, and there's also some other stuff, like, there's 3 different game modes. There's 1-star, 2-star, and 5-star. Anything in 2-star or 5-star, there's going to be random Garens jumping out of the bushes. There's going to be Nocturnes that are going to just jump out of nowhere. There's going to be things Eve's going to do. It's going to be really insane.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. This is the first game mode that I've actually been released. This is the PBE stuff that I've been harping on for years. And the fact that they're finally doing something like that, and while it's not exactly what I'd hoped for, this is cool. It's
a great step.
It's a great step, and if the people love it, we're going to get more of it. So I hope the people like it, and I hope they execute it well.
Oh, I just think it's so funny how it's like, all right, here's 1-star, it's going to be hard. 2-star is going to be a little bit harder. We're going to add some more environmental stuff in the bushes. 5-star is just going to destroy you. Like, you're not going to live.
Death everywhere.
And I'm guessing the icon is probably for beating one of the 3 game modes.
Yeah.
In other news, Sona's getting a rework. They've been kind of talking about getting her a little bit more
interactive.
Yes, exactly. Instead of just hitting all your buttons and then hoping for the best. Her passive will amplify damage now, a little bit higher than it originally was going to. Heim of Valor now creates a ranged aura in a certain area for 3 seconds.
It's a very visual aura. That's the main thing they're going for, is not having the auras just be these ambiguous things. It's going to be like
an actual
bright
aura.
Color that's like, stand here, do a thing.
Yes, and when Sona touches an ally by this aura, it grants additional AP bonuses, and it lasts for 3 seconds. So if you touch someone with that aura while you're in the middle of the thing, it will give them an additional buff. But the auras are going to be on a higher cooldown, so you're not going to be able to switch as fast. And its mana cost will increase, so it's not going to be going down at all ranks to spam it faster. You're going to actually have to put some real mana into it.
Yeah, the main thing is that the auras are going to be less about stats and more about buffs. So, for instance, Hymn of Valor, they said, is going to give you a bonus magic attack on your next auto attack. Perseverance is going to give you a damage shield that blocks X amount of damage. Celerity is going to grant movement speed as well, but it's going to be much more significant as long as you're within that AoE.
So staying close to her while running away would be a good idea.
And Crescendo actually now increases the effectiveness of all of her abilities. So that's pretty cool stuff. But we'll have to see what the numbers end up being when this launches. This looks really cool. It's going to be sort of like, okay, I really need this cooldown because I need to have them chump some damage here. Boom! And you get that Perseverance off, and you block an Ignite, or you block a skill shot, and you feel really good.
Yeah, so giving shield actually will make Sona a lot more fun for me because I kind of like increasing the shield damage, and that will actually make her more viable for that one item that will increase stuff with the shield.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing is she can use that shield and then get that heal going and that damage going, that attack speed going.
You're gonna need a tier, honestly, with Sona. Now I always build tier with her anyways, just because I late game you just pretty much you get the scepter on her.
Lucky scepter.
And then you're just like, chime, chime, chime. Oh, I'm being attacked. Bubble. Chime, 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 chime.
And the last thing on the PBE, guys, we have 2 new skins. We have one for Malphite, and we also have one for Aatrox. Now,
About time.
Aatrox is the better looking skin of these two. All kinds of cool effects, especially for the way you change the auto attack. He's got rocket packs and stuff. Malphite is a relatively boring model with relatively boring skills, so they couldn't do a whole lot, but the effort is there. It's very nice looking, and it's way different from his other skins.
Yeah, Aatrox, I gotta say, the detail on his Q, or on his weapon change, I enjoy a lot better than his basic skins, because the change on the weapons isn't as...
It's not as stark.
Not as stark, and playing against an Aatrox, you don't know which one it is without clicking on him and checking his buffs. So having that kind of visual thing should be kind of necessary on all skins.
It should be standard.
Yes, it should. Because for clarity, it's not really clear on which...
Yeah, you have to sort of see him change over to know.
And finally, we have some community skin bundles. Usually we don't cover these anymore, but these ones were just so interesting that it was chosen by the community that I thought we'd kind of highlight it. The first one is the Top Hat bundle. It is 2,665 RP, 4,610 if you need the champions, but it includes Uncle Rise, Prestigious LeBlanc, Mad Hatter Shaco, Superb Villain Vagar, Pentakill York, and the Magnificent Twisted Fate, which is a legacy.
Ooh, these are all chosen because they're Top Hat skins.
Which is like the weirdest name ever, but whatever.
It's pretty cool. Next we have the 5 Senses bundle, which is only champions, but they're reduced price at 2,910 Riot points. We have Vel'Koz for sight, Sona for sound, we have Kog'Maw for taste, we have Warwick for smell, and we have Zac for feels. The feels!
Why is he for feels?
Because he's so sad.
My feels. The feels train.
Oh, man. And then finally the family business bundle, which includes Gangster Twitch, Mafia Graves, Mafia Jinx, Mafia Misfortune, and Gragas Esquire, which can be yours for 2,437 RP or 4,550 RP, should you require the champions.
All of the Mafia skins have really good visual effects to them. Grog's skin, it's not really in the same thing, but has some good effects. Throwing around the wine bottle is pretty great.
Indeed. But that's really it for official news this week, guys. We're going to move on to our own section here. Our first question this week comes from Mr. 12. He says, what game do you guys want to turn into a movie? Oh, God, no. No!
That's asking, what franchise do you want to ruin with a movie?
That World of Warcraft movie is going to be great.
See, I'm iffy about that. I hope at BlizzCon the trailer for it will be good, and I can just watch the trailer over and over again and just not have my expectations. But they're taking a big segment from the lore and turning that into the movie. But if I wanted to see a movie...
It's a Thrall movie.
No, it's actually Second War.
We need
Dark
more.
World.
We need more Thrall. Ugh.
But if it had to come down to it, I would say actually Left 4 Dead 2, just because you could kind of... It's a zombie movie, if anything. You can't really screw up a zombie movie too bad.
All right, I dig that.
What about you?
Well, I would go with Star Wars TIE Fighter, but they'd mess that one up.
It's not canon. We're not going to make it canon.
Exactly, it's not canon.
They're going to make a Boba Fett side movie.
Yeah, that'll be great. They're gonna humanize him, and I'm gonna be very upset.
I would love it if they don't humanize him in the whole movie. He's just an asshole.
People, oh, that'd be good. I'd like that.
Pretty much, he gets sent on a contract and he's just going around being what a bounty hunter is.
I would like that. I would like that a lot. Oh God, what game for me though? If I had to pick a game that is not based on a hit franchise,
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Oh God. I would say Perfect Dark. It's sort of got that spy movie intrigue, and it's got a really nice, strong female protagonist. It's got sci-fi and aliens. I mean, it'd be cliche as hell.
Oh.
But I don't care. And Perfect Dark for the N64, not Perfect Dark Zero or whatever.
Perfect Dark launch title.
Yeah, so that's what I would like to see. But that's really it for questions this week, guys. We are kind of running long. We had a lot of stuff to vamp about, so we're going to cut this short here. If you guys have any questions for us for next time, we try to answer at least 2 every week. You can send them in by posting them down in the comment section below. You can send it to our email at spasticgaming@gmail.com. Or send it to our Twitter, Facebook, or website. All the links to that are down below here, guys. We love the questions. We really do. So send us to them so we have something to talk about because it's fun for us.
We have a survey going on what you guys would like to see as far as a full run kind of like side project. You have all the options down below. You can even add your own. We're just looking for other stuff that we can add to update consistently, probably after the summer's over when I got more time to work on stuff. But he's got his stuff he's working on. I've got both Hex and League of Legends I'm trying to balance equally.
I am almost into the Star Citizen multiplayer. It's exciting.
Almost, meaning you got to upgrade your computer more.
Actually, I think I might be able to run it. I think I might. I might have to get a new processor, but we'll see. But who knows?
Who knows?
God bless America.
All right, this has been Water Elemental.
And it's been Axis. 4th of July. 4th of July.
Today's the 5th. 5th of July.
Leave
5th
me.
of...
This is not my jacket.